Getting faster in F1 23 can be a challenge, and we want to help you to get there. In this video we'll go over braking, throttle and steering techniques to help you reach your full potential. So let's talk about braking first. The safest way to brake is in a straight line, then come fully off the brakes and only then start to turn into the corner. Because this technique keeps the car very stable, it is really safe. However, it's not actually the fastest way to drive into a corner, so that's where trail braking comes in. Let's dive straight into what trail braking is about. As the name suggests, it's about trailing off the brakes. Instead of just going on and off, you're coming gradually off the brake pedal. Let's take a look at this example. We get on the brakes quite punchy as the wheels are completely straight and you have all the grip available for straight line braking. But the moment you start turning into the corner, you gently come off the brakes because the grip is now used for slowing down and turning the car into the corner. Why should you trail brake into a corner? Well, the reason is twofold. First of all, it enables you to brake later because you have part of your braking distance in the corner rather than before it. Secondly, you keep the weight of the car on the front wheels. By staying on the brakes quite deep into the corner, we put more weight on those front tires, thereby increasing their available grip, which means we can carry more speed into the corner, and that is what trail braking is all about. You can see the effects of trail braking beautifully in this track Titan platform analysis, where the orange car is not trail braking and the blue car is trail braking. We see that our blue car is coming off the brake pedal gradually, while the slower orange car brakes earlier and releases the brakes quite abruptly. Because of this, the balance of the car shifts from front to back, resulting in less grip, causing them to turn the steering wheel more to make the corner. All the while, the faster blue car can gradually get back on the throttle and build up speed to exit the corner faster, making them almost half a second faster throughout this corner alone. Be sure to practice trail braking because it can be a little difficult when you start out, but it's a surefire way to get faster through almost every corner on the track. So there's a lot to gain by trail braking if you aren't doing it already. Now let's talk about the throttle a little bit. Now you might think there's not too much to applying the throttle in the right way. Just get on the power as soon as you can and you're done. Well, that's not exactly how it all works. One of the most common mistakes that we see drivers make on track is not being patient enough and actually getting on the throttle too early. And this might give you the feeling that you're faster in the corner, but it will definitely slow you down on the following straight. Now, why is this? When you're going through a corner, your front tires want to use all their grip for turning. That's why trail braking helps you so much with cornering, because you're loading more weight over the front tires, increasing their available grip. Now, what happens when you start to accelerate? Exactly, the weight of the car shifts more to the rear and you'll experience understeer, which makes it harder to get through the corner. And you'll notice this especially in long and winding corners. This understeer will prevent you from going flat out as early as possible, resulting in a lower speed on the section after the corner. By being a little more patient and staying off the throttle, you can get on full power earlier, resulting in a stable exit onto the following straight where you'll come out ahead of anyone who got on the power too early. Now, getting on the power at precisely the right moment is a difficult task and requires a lot of practice. F1 cars are furiously fast, but always getting on the power as early as possible is not the quickest way around a circuit. Sometimes you just need to be a little more patient to be even faster. Now let's go over some common mistakes people make with their steering and how we can solve them. The two biggest issues you'll come across are over and understeering. We'll dive into understeering first, definitely one of the most annoying problems out on track. But we see a lot of drivers try to solve this in the wrong manner. They're actually turning the steering wheel in too much. Now, why is that an issue? When you're coming into a corner with a great deal of speed, instinctively you want to slow it down. When you don't slow down enough, you'll experience understeer. This is because your front tires don't have enough grip for the change of direction of your car. So what happens when you're experiencing understeer and you turn in even more? Your car is going in one direction and your tires are pointed in another. This causes friction, and friction leads to heat. Your tire temperatures rise, which cause them to lose even more grip. So how can you actually solve this? For starters, you can slow down somewhat more before you turn into the corner. And if you're not trail braking already, learn how to do that. And leave the throttle alone if you're experiencing understeer, because getting on the power will shift the weight of the car to the rear and rob your front tires of even more grip. And while we're on the topic of problems with grip, let's dive into oversteer as well. Oversteer is when you expect to turn a certain amount, but your car has other plans and wants to turn a lot more. This might result in a spin or having to correct the steering a little bit, but both will result in you losing time. When you're coming out of a corner, you want to accelerate as much as possible, but speeding up shifts the weight of the car to the rear, which means your front tires will have very little grip. This makes the steering very loose already, and combine this with potential wheel spin of the rear tires and your car becomes a loose rocket and you're a passenger holding on for dear life. So how can you solve this? By being a little more gradual on the throttle when you're not in a straight line to make sure your tires have enough grip to speed up and keep turning. So don't just floor it as soon as you see the exit of the corner. Now let's conclude the video by going over the key points once more. Trail braking is an important skill to learn. It keeps your car balanced into corners and it makes you faster through almost any of them. Definitely a skill you'll need to pick up if you want to level up your sim racing. Learning when and where to apply the right amount of throttle is vital in becoming a faster driver. It may be a little counterintuitive at the start, waiting patiently before you get on the throttle, but once you learn to time it right, you'll be flying past the competition on the straights after the corners. Understeering can be solved by supplying your front tires with the grip they're asking for. This can mean that you need to slow down a little more, or you need to learn to trail brake or let off the gas, but don't turn your steering wheel more when experiencing understeer. And lastly, oversteer on exit can be a real troublemaker, but again, this can be solved by proper throttle discipline and by managing your tires' grip correctly. Remember that the front of your car gets light during acceleration, which can make it a little unpredictable. Gradually getting on the throttle when you drive out of a corner keeps your car stable and supplies it with ample grip. And that's everything we've got for you today, and we hope you've learned something. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions, and we hope to see you in the next one.